Hello everyone, welcome back to English class. Dear students, as you know that we have started the chapter from the book Honeycomb. The name of the chapter, A Bicycle in Good Repair. And yes, we have done part 1. And what we have read about the narrator who met to his friend one evening and they planned for the next day. He woke up early and got ready for a walk and so yes, when his friend arrived, he asked the narrator about bicycle, and his friend had separated the front wheel of the bicycle as it was wobbling. And according to the friend, and he wanted to repair the bicycle, but till now he had taken off the ball bearings of bicycle. Means and the narrator had just collected all the bearings and put them into the hat for the safety purpose, right? So let's start reading the next part 2 on page number 129. He then said that while he was about it, he could see to the chain for me and at once began taking off the gear case. I did try to dissuade him from that. I told him that an experienced friend of mine once said to me solemnly, if anything goes wrong with your gear case, sell the machine and buy a new one. It comes cheaper. So what happened then, as we had seen that he had just separated the first front wheel, then he then said that while he was about it, he would see to the chain for me. Means he wanted to check the chain and at once began taking off the gear case. So he wanted to just put off the gear case, and I did try to dissuade. I tried to dissuade means prevent. I just tried to prevent all the things. Means he just didn't touch the gear case. I told him what an experience, and he explained that his friend, narrator's one of old friend, had told him that solemnly, seriously, that please, if any time if something will go wrong with your gear case, then please just change the machine. Don't it just buy the new one, buy the new machine. Okay, so it will become cheaper for you. Okay, means what did he want to say? That his friend suggested him seriously that in the case of gear case, if anything goes went wrong with the gear case, then please change the machine. Means change the bicycle instead of gear case. It will be cheaper, right? So he said, people talk like that who understand nothing about machines. Nothing is easier than taking off a gear case. I had to confess he was right. In less than 5 minutes, he had the gear case in two pieces, lying on the path, and was groveling for screws. He said it was always a mystery to him the way screws disappeared. Have you ever observed the screw? Obviously they have just kind of the structure that they can easily roll over the ground. So what happened then? He said, who the friend of narrator told, that people talked like that, who only the persons who didn't understand about the machine, who knew nothing about the machine, so they speak like that. And nothing is easier than taking off a gear case, and according to him, taking off the gear case was the easiest task. So I had to confess he was right. Okay, so he just admitted that he was right, and in less than 5 minutes he had the gear case in two pieces. Means the friend of narrator took off the gear case in less than 5 minutes, and lying on the path, it was lying on the path and was groveling for screws. Groveling means crawling on the ground for searching the screws. And he said, who the friend said, that it was always a mystery. He didn't find and it was always a secret for him that the way screws disappeared. Okay, as whenever a screw just fell on the ground, it can move very speedily. Okay, so it become always a mystery for him how a screw could disappeared instantly. Common sense continued to whisper to me, stop him. before he does any more mischief. You have a right to protect your own property from the ravages of a lunatic. Take him by the scruff of the neck and kick him out of the gate. So all these kind of things came into the mind of the writer and the narrator, as someone was just disturbing, hurting his machine, and he was the owner, but he was not able to stop him. So common sense, everybody has the common sense. Do you have? I am having. Do you have? Find it out. So common sense means intelligence, wit. Continue to whisper to him, continuously telling him, the narrator, that please stop him, stop your friend before he did anything more mischief, before he could make more mistakes. Please stop him. You have a right, as it was my property, so it was his right to stop anybody to touch his property. And yes, he has right to protect his own property from the damages of a mad person. He, according to him now, and he was thinking in his mind that the person was a mad one, and yes, because of that his cycle was damaging. And take him by the scruff, okay, of the neck and kick him out of the gate, right? So he was thinking like he was full of anger and just took him, caught him from the neck and just kicked him out from the gate. So it all kind of thoughts was coming into his mind. But I am weak when it comes to hurting other people's feeling, and I let him muddle on. Okay, so but yes, all things were moving into his mind, but what happened? He felt that he was very weak when it comes to hurting others people feeling, means he was not able to hurt other people. Okay, so that's why he just let him muddle on. Muddle on means mixing up the things, whatever he wanted to do, he just let it be. So he gave up looking for the rest of the screws. He said screws had a knack of turning up when you least expected them, and that now he would see to the chain. He tightened it till it would not move. Next he loosened it until it was twice as loose as it was before. Then he said we had better think about getting the front wheel back into its place again. So what happened then? He gave up looking for the rest of the screws, as the narrator came to know that it was completely useless to say anything to the person, and obviously he didn't want to hurt his feeling. So he just gave up. He just was not collecting the screws right now. And he said screws had a knack means talent. So he was describing that screws have had a kind of a talent to turning up when you least expected them, when you are not expecting them, so they are just moving here and there. Okay, and what next? And now he was taking care of the chain, and what he did, he tightened it till it would not move. Just he tightened the chain, means it was not able to move, and next time he just loosened it. Okay, so what happened then? He just loosened the chain as it was twice as loose as it was before. Okay, so then but he admits that he is weak. So then it was a time for the chain, which he tightened to an extent that it stopped moving. He then loosened it until it became twice as loose as it was before, means wrong way. Then he said we had better think about getting the front wheel back into its place again. So what happened? And now he was thinking to just put the front wheel back into its place again. Okay, I held the fork open and he worried with the wheel. At the end of 10 minutes, I suggested he should hold the fork and that I should handle the wheel, and we changed places. And at length, we did get the things into position, and the moment it was in position, he burst out laughing. Okay, so after applying uh, his tricks on the cycle, author's friend seemed to be contented and now wanted to put all the pieces back into their place. So it took a lot of time and a great effort. So the process revealed that what that he held the fork open, I held the fork open, and he worried with the wheel. And at the 10 minutes I suggested, when he was not able to fix the wheel, so they after 10 minutes the narrator suggested to just change the places, because he wanted to just fix the wheel. So yes, they have changed the places and they have done. At length we did get the things into positions, right? And the moment it was in position, he burst out laughing. Who? The friend. He just started laughing. Okay, as you can see, here is the friend of him, and he now just was handling the fork, and he was just putting the, yes, wheel into its place. Yes. Now I said, "What's the joke?" He said, "Well, I'm an as." It was the first thing he had said that made me respect him. I asked him what had led him to the discovery. He said, "We have forgotten the balls." I looked for my hat. It was lying topsy-turvy in the middle of the path. He was of a cheerful disposition. He said, "Well, we must put back all we can find and trust to Providence." Okay, so what was the joke? As he was laughing, so the writer was asking, what was the joke? Why were you laughing? Right? So he told that as he admitted that he was an as. As means donkey. Who? The friend. It was the first thing, and as he admitted that he was a donkey, so the person, the writer, was feeling like it was the first thing he had said correctly. And yes, he just feeling very respect for him. Okay, I asked him what had led him to the discovery, and now he was asking, why were you telling like that? Then he said, we have forgotten the balls. Okay, so he was asking about the balls. I look for my hat, because he had collected the balls and put them into the hat. And when he looked the hat, what happened, it was lying topsy turvy, means upside down. As you can see here in the picture, here is in the correct position, but now when they it was lying topsy turvy in the middle of the path, means it become upside down. Okay, and all those balls, all the screws fell down. He was a very cheerful disposition. He said, well, we must put back all we can find and trust to Providence. So what happened? He was again telling them, just we just go and find what? The balls. Okay, so again the same exercise they had repeated, and they had collected how many they can do. We found 11. We fixed 6 on one side and 5 on the other. Obviously, they didn't find all the balls. They just found, they were able to find only 11. So on the one side, they fixed 6, and on the other, they fixed 5. And half an hour later, the wheel was in its place again. Okay, and it took 30 minutes and great efforts to put the things back. It need hardly be added that it really did wobble now. A child might have noticed it. He said it would do for the present, and sorry, he said that it would do for the present. So what happened then, as they put all the efforts, and after 30 minutes the place wheel was on its places, so it need hardly be added that it really did wobble now. Okay, so now it was, they found that it was not really wobbling, it was not waving, and a child might have noticed it, and even a child could find that it was not wobbling. And he said it would do for the present, and it was able, and he said that it was for present, it can do only these things. So today we are going to read till here only. Okay, so you just reread the chapter and try to understand it well. Thank you.